Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're throwing on our hard hats and playing home plumbing detective. We're going to uncover the crucial differences between two machines that exist in millions of basements across the world, the sewage ejector pump versus the sump pump. Now, to the untrained eye sitting side by side on a hardware store shelf, these two cylindrical, motorized devices can look virtually identical. But underneath those tough exteriors, they are engineered for completely different worlds. So we're going to break down the data from plumbing experts to understand exactly what sets them apart.
Now, let me ask you this right off the bat. These two pumps, they look identical, but what actually happens if you choose the wrong one? Picture this. You're doing a quick DIY basement reno, or maybe you're rushing to replace a broken pump. You grab one that just kind of looks like the old one, wire it up, and assume you're good to go. What's the actual fallout of mixing these two up?
Well, the consequences are poor performance, premature wear, and repeated backups. And let's be real about what a repeated backup actually means here. We're talking about a smelly, expensive, completely unhygienic nightmare right in your home. When heavy solids, raw waste, or unusual load conditions hit a pump that just wasn't built to handle them, the whole system chokes. It's an incredibly costly mistake, which is exactly why we need to get this right.
Section 1. Meet the contenders. Let's define these pumps. First up, the sump pump. You can really think of this as your home's foundation raincoat, or kind of like a groundwater guardian. Its main job? Removing groundwater that naturally collects in a basement or a crawl space. It sits in a sump pit, intercepts water seeping in from the surrounding soil, and discharges it safely away from your home's foundation to prevent flooding. The big takeaway here is that sump pumps are dealing with relatively clean water. Sure, they might suck up a little bit of dirt or tiny debris, but they are selected and rated based on expected water volumes and duty cycles. They are not meant for chewing through heavy waste.
Next, we have the sewage ejector pump. So if the sump pump is your raincoat, the sewage ejector pump is the heavy-duty garbage truck of your plumbing system. It is specifically designed for wastewater drainage systems that actually contain sewage and household waste. In spots where gravity just can't do the work, like, say, a bathroom located down below the main sewer line, this pump collects that wastewater in a sealed pit or tank and literally forces it upward or across long distances to reach the main sewer or septic system.
Moving on to Section 2, water versus waste, the core contrast.
Notice the stark contrast in what these machines can actually handle. On one side, the sump pump is strictly meant for clear groundwater and small debris. On the other, the sewage ejector pump is built for raw wastewater and heavy solids. This is the biggest difference, guys. Sewage ejector pumps feature specific, heavy-duty impeller designs and corrosion-resistant parts that can move harsh fluids and break down solids. Some pumps completely lack this engineering. If you force raw sewage through a standard sump pump, you're going to cause massive mechanical stress. The impellers will clog up, the motor will burn out, and the system is going to fail almost immediately. Another incredibly important difference is how and where they discharge all that fluid. Sump pumps usually carry collected groundwater away from the foundation. It's often just a relatively horizontal or slightly angled push to get water out into the yard or a storm drain. Ejector pumps, on the other hand, are all about lifting. They have the super tough job of pushing heavy, solid-filled wastewater vertically upward to reach a higher sewer line. And because they're pushing toxic waste against gravity, installing them requires specific check valves to stop gross backflow into the pit, plus very carefully routed, completely sealed discharge piping to prevent hazardous leaks. It's a whole different ballgame.
All right, Section 3, Real-World Home Locations.
Consider this your ultimate plumbing detective cheat sheet. If you're dealing with groundwater intrusion, seepage, or just seasonal flooding, you are definitely looking at a sump pump. You'll spot these in unfinished basements, dark crawl spaces, or hooked up to a perimeter drain system in a simple pit. But if the water source involves wastewater or sewage, like if you decide to have a basement bathroom, a below-grade laundry area, or a sink with a grinder unit, you absolutely require a sewage ejector pump. The easiest rule of thumb here? Just look directly at the plumbing's purpose. If a toilet or any waste-producing fixture is feeding into the system, you are firmly in ejector pump territory.
Section 4. Making the right choice.
Selecting a pump isn't just about grabbing the one with the biggest motor or the highest horsepower. First, you've got to confirm the intended fluid type, clear water versus wastewater. Second, always check the manufacturer's specific guidance for solids handling, like will it pass a 2-inch solid or just half an inch? Third, verify your local code requirements. Ejector systems actually require specific sealed venting to safely route dangerous sewer gases outside your home, which is something a basic sump pit just doesn't need. Finally, ensure you have proper electrical protection and definitely consider an alarm or a battery backup feature. Trust me, you absolutely want an alarm going off way before an ejector pit overflows.
I want to give you a quick diagnostic check right now. If your current setup is showing any of these warning signs, if the system fails repeatedly, if the area smells kind of funky, like sewer gas, or if it reliably backs up during wet weather, this is a massive red flag. It's basically the plumbing equivalent of your car's check engine light flashing. It likely means that your current pump type, or maybe the overall design and venting of the system, just fundamentally doesn't fit the job it's being asked to do.
So, I want to leave you with this final, punchy rule of thumb straight from the experts. Use a sump pump for groundwater and a sewage ejector pump for wastewater. It is brilliantly simple, right? But sticking to this rule is exactly what's going to protect your home from devastating unsanitary backups. Matching the pump's engineering to the fluid it's moving guarantees reliability and peace of mind. So take a moment today to be that plumbing detective. Venture down into your basement or crawl space and ask yourself, is my current setup truly up to the task it was built for? And honestly, if this one machine is quietly holding back disaster, what other invisible systems in your home are just waiting to be uncovered? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.